And a good morning to you. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. And I'm drinking Ethiopian this morning, which is my new favorite coffee. It is so perfect. It's funny how people's tastes in things change over the years. I was a Sumatra nut for the longest time. I liked that smoothness. I liked the less acidity. But this Ethiopian is just killing me. Killing me. And I've tried so many. There's one or two that I haven't tried that some people have mentioned. And then I kind of like this Guatemala bean as well. It's a floral kind of thing, a sweet floral. But right now, man, Ethiopian is floating my boat. Sorry I'm drinking so much. I'm so excited about this. 5 o'clock in the morning. Up. Good sleep. Good day of work yesterday. Got some work to do today. The to-do list. Checking things off. Attending a TV hosting webinar later today. Looking forward to that. So let's get going here. 3 of the greatest joys in life are charming a younger woman, a married woman, and a much older woman. Notice I didn't say seduce or follow through on your impulses, but charming them. Just enough. And I'm not talking about manipulation or anything like that. But just enough where in the future, when they think of you, they glance off and smile and just take a 3-second vacation thinking about you. It's a beautiful thing. An older man can charm and win over a younger woman, a much younger woman, but not for long. What a trippy time to live. You can make a living and a killing and never have to leave your house. Load a truck, swing a hammer, press print on a computer, stand in front of a copier. Never. Never in history has it been easier to make a damn killing. For those that are interested in medicinal, creative, or recreational use of cannabis, check out weedonline.com. They have a dedicated website that's free from censorship. You might like it. You can upload any cannabis-related videos, whether they be educational or even a sesh, which are pretty popular. People just having a session and using, whether medical or recreational, and just talking about life, because the reality is it does open up the mind and create a different type of thinking, a more creative kind of thinking. The more I get into fountain pens, the more that I see the addiction, even to the ink bottles and the crafted paper. It's a rabbit hole that I think I'm going to enjoy, really, really enjoy. So this, I feel, fits me right now. It's fun and it fits me. And puffing on a 100-year-old pipe and writing with a 100-year-old fountain pen is going to be just a phenomenal joy. I was banned from a singles group when I was 55. I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. For what, you may ask? For being single and doing what single men should be doing at singles groups. Stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty. It's not over for you. You want some cheese with that wine? I'm tired of people whining. Next time someone whines and moans and complains, say that to them. Would you like some cheese with that wine? Complainers just get so old so fast. Let's go back to the charming thing. You know, how do you charm a person? Itchy nose syndrome here. This is that November thing where it just kind of starts and I just always feel like I'm on the verge of a sneeze for a couple months. How do you charm somebody? Many people in the pickup artist community, the seduction community, the end goal always seems to be get naked and release your seed. Somehow, some way. For men. For women, it's achieve a great feeling on your terms through orgasm or getting there. But people have lost the art of charming somebody. Everything does not have to lead to the bedroom. It doesn't have to. And when I say charming somebody, I mean being polite. For a man, that means being a gentleman, being sexy, and not over-sexual and seductive and over the top and being a scumball. When it has to do with women, it's not about being slutty, revealing more skin. The lower the shirt go, I've always said this too, as women get older, especially in the modeling and acting community that I was in for the longest time, broadcasting and so forth, you see as a woman gets older, she starts showing more to get more attention when it starts going to younger women. And my thoughts have always been, you don't need to show more skin. You don't need to show more skin. What people find attractive is your confidence and how you walk, how you hold yourself, your gait. Did you ever notice women who were into dancing? And I'm not talking about going out in clubs and dancing, but women who were into dance, like ballet and various forms of more fluid dance. Dancers float when they walk. They don't thud when they walk. And I've watched many, many women over the years. And dancers, when you watch them, like when most people walk, their heads kind of go up and down. If you just watch a person's head, it just goes up and down. It's like, look at a person who has a background in dance, and they hover. They don't bounce. What a great trait for a woman, to float into your life. There I was, and she floated into my life. There I was, and she floated into my line of sight. It's okay to be smitten. It's not okay to have one-itis, but it's okay to be smitten. It's all right. It's okay to want to go and buy flowers for somebody if you're a guy, or even if you're a gal. I met a woman, I was working at a barber shop, and there was a woman who had a salon, and I would take, like, when a lot of people would go out back and have smokes, and I'm not like go out back and smoke a cigarette kind of guy. I want to move. Because if I'm cutting hair, I'm just standing behind a chair all day, and I'm not stretching, I'm not moving. So if I was going to take a 20 or 30 minute break, I would walk around the block. And I encountered a salon, and I just looked in the window and locked eyes with a woman who was cutting hair. Next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. Next day, I just walked in and said, "Hi, I just want to introduce myself. Hi, I noticed you and I just want to introduce myself. I work around the corner. My name is George." And I shook her hand. That was it. The next day, there were flowers at my cutting station, and everybody in the barber shop said, "This really hot girl came in and said, 'Is George here?' They said, 'No, he's not here yet.' And she says, 'These are for him. Can you give them to him when he gets here?' So they put them on my barber station. I came in, I was quite surprised. It was a bouquet of yellow roses and some greens and baby's breath and that kind of stuff. Beautiful, very beautiful. And I said, "Gosh, where'd this come from?" They said, "Looks like you have an admirer." And I'm like, "I do?" And I thought, oh. And they described her, and I said, oh, okay, it's the girl around the corner. And I went around the corner at my break, walked in, she had a big smile. And I said, "I just want to thank you for the flowers. They were just magnificent." And there's nothing wrong with a man receiving flowers. Nothing wrong with that at all. And ladies, there's nothing wrong with giving a man flowers. A decent man, you know, all the jokes about make me a sandwich and all that stuff. I mean, that to me, that's like all joking. That's what I would call hyper masculinity, but not macho. It's almost joking. The whole make a sandwich meme kind of thing. Where is the room for romanticism? And I'm waxing romantic right now. She made that move because you can't negotiate desire. I did not win her over. I did not try anything. I just went with my impulses. But I didn't lose sleep over it. I didn't lose sleep. I didn't worry about it. It just happened. And when you live a charming life, charming, effective life with people, things come back to you. Sometimes those things are flowers. Sometimes those things could be a romantic weekend with somebody. Sometimes those things could be a soft tea kiss. Remember when I talked about a woman sitting and holding her cup like this, the way women do when they sip their tea? And I said, one of the greatest pleasures, never to be underestimated, is kissing a woman's warm lips after she just sipped on some tea. But coffee, not so much. The coffee breath just doesn't work, but the tea breath is fine. And it's okay to live a charming life. And there was a time when men lived like that. Charming women, not necessarily seducing women. Now, obviously, when you're younger, you go with the impulses that just drive you. This is for men and women. You go with impulses that drive you. You travel long distances. You swim shark-infested waters. And that's okay. It's all part of being young. Getting out of your own way. Nothing can make a man get to the gym more than desiring a woman. He's tired of how he looks. He knows he's not attractive. So he starts watching what he eats. He starts lifting some weight on a regular basis, building his body, shaping his body, growing a beard, getting more than a $12 haircut at Hair Butchery, getting a nice shave, getting shaped up, getting your hands masculinely manicured, or doing it yourself, straightening out your body, lifting your head back, no crooked iPhone neck, smiling, making eye contact, not looking away when someone sees you looking at them. And when you do lock eyes, you smile and say hi. Who can resist that? What human being can resist a charming person? No one can. This is not to be confused with being manipulative or tricky or seductive. It's called being a gentleman. It's called being a gentlewoman. I woke up in a great mood today. I had a dream. There was a woman that I was chasing a long time ago, and then I just realized that she was in different circles and it would be ridiculous for me to follow through on that. And I don't know why, but I had a dream that she was in my kitchen. Actually, at my parents' house. It's weird how scenes and people converge. And I was with her in the kitchen and we were cooking. And I was being very charming with her, hence the topic of charming somebody. And I'll never forget just reaching over to her and putting my hand on the small of her back. And she came in and we kissed. And this was not a sexual dream at all. And we kissed. And then my mom walked in the kitchen and she smirked. And I was an adult in the dream. And I stepped away as if, ooh, you caught us. And then I woke up. And then I woke up at 4:30. Just woke up. Good mood. And it was so real. It was so real. Hence the topic of charming people. How to be charming. Just Google how to charm a person or how to be charming. But that's a phrase you don't hear much anymore. Hence my tweet. It's fun to charm a younger woman, a much younger woman. You can get them through your charm, but you can't keep them through your charm. Can't happen. So I tell people, enjoy it while it's there. Because there's an expiration date on it. Whenever there's a significant disparity of age, there's an expiration date. I don't care what anyone says. Pursue what you want, but pursue realistically. Pursue realistically. There's nothing like being inspired by somebody, and they don't have to be a 10 or whatever the hell rating that people generally use. All they have to be is your muse. Look up muse, M-U-S-E. Most men end up with harpies and not muses. Can you imagine being in a relationship with a muse, where even just watching her make a grilled cheese sandwich inspires you? And if she's a dancer, watching her float that sandwich over to you and float you a kiss. What a beautiful thing in life. What a beautiful thing. Can you imagine having a whole weekend without talking? Can you imagine that? As a man who enjoys solitude, I've had entire weekends of no talking, unless somebody calls. But who calls anymore? Everyone's texting. So you text back. I've had weekends. My weekends usually start on Saturday night. I get done cutting hair at the salon, I come home, and there are times, because I work with people a lot, that I just don't want to see people or hear people. It's nothing against people, it's just that I need a little bit of a break. And I will go 2 to 3 days without talking to another human being. I'll talk to the animals, but not talking to another human being. And watching movies and reading books and creating content. Imagine having a date where you don't talk. That might be terrifying for many women, I don't know. Women seem to like to talk more than men do. On first dates, it seems like a lot of men like to talk more than women. Talk about themselves. That's why I say, don't be the most interesting man in the world. Be on a first date, be the most interested man in the world. I'm not talking about spending a lot of money. Because you can't negotiate desire or buy your way into someone's heart, going out for a drink or a cup of coffee or a cup of tea is a really neat way to get to know somebody. Now, if you're going out and slamming down vodka and tonics with the person, then both personalities are being skewed by alcohol. You don't want to do that. But meeting somebody for coffee. Chrissy was telling me about a woman that she works with at a salon. You guys know my former co-worker, Chrissy. And the salon that she works at now, because the one that we worked at closed, she says the woman that she works with and her husband meet for coffee every day. They both go in their directions and have their jobs and their lives, but they have a time where they just get together and have coffee. And they've been married, 25, 30 years or something like that. How interesting, just meeting for coffee. Spending time with one another. As I was on the swipeable sites, people say, I'm not here for a hookup. Bullshit. Stop that bullshit. The more people say I'm not here for a hookup, the easier they are to hook up with. That's just a fact. I don't care what anyone says. This old dog's been around long enough to see through the bullshit when he sees it. And I once proposed a date without talking. Let's evaluate each other based upon our behavior, not upon our words, because anyone can say anything they want for a 2 to 3 hour meet and greet. Can you imagine not saying anything on a date? Just walking, enjoying a cup of tea together, a cup of coffee together, observing. And I remember I had a few women want to take me up on that. And I remember reading their profiles, and they were more interesting than any other woman that was reaching out to me, that wanted to be wined and dined and didn't want to hook up. There was a higher quality, a different wavelength. And they were all ages. And they all said, that sounds so intriguing. I would love to do that. And it's not your words, it's your actions. And you focus on actions, not on words, because words can be pretty cheap. So you're opening doors for her. You're guiding her through a crowd by having your hand on the small of her back. You're holding a chair for her. You're taking her coat. You're putting it on. You're not being a pussy. You're not whipping out the hundreds. and the wad of cash, that's a whole different game. I haven't done a rambling video in a long time. I hope it was relevant and inspiring for you. Zero agenda. I want you to have a great day. I want you to be unstuck. I don't want you to be worrying about bills, relationships, nonsense, things that wear you down, relationships that just bring the worst out of you. Oh my Lord. It is better, much, I've said this for years, it's better to be single and wish you were married than to be married and wish you were single. If you are married and you need to be single again, the goal is not to get laid and ride that carousel as much as possible. You're not missing out on anything. Women who think they got to leave their husband and ride the carousel think they're making up for lost time when actually they're hurting themselves. Ladies, don't hurt yourself. Men, don't hurt yourself or hurt anybody. And with that, I will toast you with my Ethiopian. And say have a great day. See you tomorrow.